A hot take is an opinion that isn't shared by the majority in a consensus, something that would definitely be going against the grain, but obviously has a validity to it because it's your own opinion. And I absolutely love the concept of hot takes, to the point where it's honestly become a staple of my channel. I love asking you guys for your hot takes surrounding Ninjago, and you always provide some fantastic answers for it. So like always, I did ask you guys one thing. What are your Ninjago hot takes? And I got many of them, to the point where I was struggling to have any sort of pick when it did come to it, because I just wanted to include them all, but unfortunately it wasn't the case, and I couldn't sit here for hours just talking about hot takes, because eventually you would get bored. So what I've done today is select 8 hot takes that I have found from you guys, and I'm going to talk through them and give my opinion on them, and of course wonder what your guys' opinion on these hot takes are as well. So let me not waste any more of your time, and let's look into some of these new hot takes from you guys and see what you guys think. Our first hot take for today is coming from Kazenbach. It's a staple at this point. I don't know how to pronounce any sort of names here, but hello my friend. And your hot take was, I don't mind how Dragon's Rising seasons get released. We used to wait a whole year for another 10 episodes in the OG season 1 through 7 era, for example. Now we only have to wait a few months before another 10 episodes get released. When season 4 part 2 comes out this year, yeah, this was said before the leaks, we'll literally have more Dragon's Rising episodes than pre-redesigned episodes in less amount of time. Now, I understand your point, but I think I do disagree here. I will say it is nice that we are getting episodes as consistently as we are now. One thing is that in the original era of the show, we did have years where we didn't, but we also had years when we did get 20 episodes. For example, 2015, we did get both Tournament of Elements and also Possession, which were both 10 episodes a pop. Now, I will say this does then suffer elsewhere. 2016, for example, had 10 episodes and a special, 2017 had 1, and then 2014, for example, only also had 1. Like, it's definitely a very difficult way to look at it. So, I definitely do think it is better in terms of the consistency, but I also do just miss the weekly uploads. I really do miss just having something every single week. Now imagine if with the Dragon's Rising 20 episodes guarantee, they were released weekly. That's nearly half a year worth of new Ninjago content right there, and that's not even including something like Monstrosity or Duskfall. So it would be really cool if they did return to the weekly structure, but I do also understand why you like it the way it is. It's really difficult for me to say yes or no to this one, because I do agree with a lot of it in some way, but not in another. I think the perfect world would just be 20 episodes a year, weekly basis. That is just it, in my opinion. I think that would just be amazing for the community, but they just don't want to do that, because why not? But yeah, thank you very much. I find this one really interesting, and I can't wait to see other people's opinion on it. Our second hot take for today is coming from the GOAT himself, Tom's Lawyer. I was actually on a podcast with him a few weeks back. I would recommend you check that out. It was really good and really fun. But anyway, his hot take was, Lord Raz is a much better villain than Moro, and possibly even better than Garmadon. I don't know where I stand on this one fully. I will immediately say this. I love Raz. I think Raz is a fantastic villain. I've had a lot of fun with him over the course of Dragon's Rising. I wish we've had more from him, but that is kind of besides the point. He's definitely taken his place up there in terms of villains with Ninjago. Better than Moro? I think I could agree with that one. As much as I do like Moro, I like what's beyond Moro in a lot of ways. I like the story of Moro, not necessarily him as a villain. I just kind of like where he goes, and his Dragon's Rising appearance has been quite good as well. So I could agree with that one. But I don't think Garmadon. Garmadon is just it, in my opinion. Garmadon has everything that I want in a villain, and he's done fantastically with it. He has an amazing villain arc, he has an amazing redemption, hero arc, resurrection. Crystallize does him fairly good as well. The lot. I really do think Garmadon is something special when it comes to Ninjago. So I think as it stands, I still do prefer him over Raz. But if they land Raz's character arc in terms of Dragon's Rising fairly well, I could definitely see him being up there. So I understand where you're coming from. I see the potential of Raz, but I think as it stands, it's a no for Garmadon. But honestly, he's definitely minimum top 5. Thank you very much, Tom Zoya. Make sure you check out his videos. The third hot take for today is going to be coming from Ninja Flash 2011. Longtime viewer, hello my friend. And your one is, I don't know why it's a hot take, but Jay got his memories back way too early. And I'm in two minds on this one. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. On the one hand, it definitely does feel like the transition from Rogue to Jay in Season 4 Part 1 was definitely very abrupt, and it feels like there wasn't much more going on for it, especially in comparison to Season 3. So in that way, I do agree, but I do think having Jay restored back to his memories does offer something very unique. I'm not commenting on anything beyond Season 4 Part 1 because I refuse to talk about leaks, but the thing is that I do think having Jay returning in Dragon's Rising is just a nice bit of potential. I think it could have been delayed a little bit longer, but I think in the direction that the story is going, it was kind of just a necessity to get him back by this point. So I do think that could just come down to poor pacing, which has certainly been a problem in Dragon's Rising, but I think just regardless of that, it's still just something where I'm fine with the fact he got his memories back. But yeah, I fully understand what you mean, and honestly, I don't really have an argument against it. I think it's just an agree to disagree situation. But thank you very much, Ninja Flash. Hot take number 4 is going to be coming from James Politician. Hello, my friend. And your one is, I prefer the 11-minute episodes. They're very bingeable. And I completely agree, but I don't necessarily think I prefer the 11-minute format. In terms of the bingeable aspect of Ninjago, the 11-minute format is amazing for it. I love nothing more than just chucking on a quick episode of Ninjago when I'm busy. For reference, as of the time of filming, we just started getting the LEGO livestream on YouTube where they're playing through Seabound and Crystallized. You have no idea how often I'm pulling up that livestream just to simply watch through some random episodes. It has been an absolute blast. Honestly, if LEGO just did a full run of the Wildbrain era on a livestream 24/7, I could see myself very consistently having that up. But at the end of the day, we're just getting the individual seasons. So in terms of the bingeable nature, 100% I agree with that, because I'm literally doing it myself. But in terms of preferring them to the 22-minute format, I think that is where you kind of lose me. One thing I will say is that the 22-minute format just allows the pacing and the structure and the plot to really shine. It allows us to truly absorb what we're actually seeing in terms of its story, whereas the 11-minute does feel almost cut off. Now, I will say they've utilized it fairly well, because we have seen, for example, just an entire 11-minute episode dedicated specifically to one plot point. Think of like when the male kids are going around Ninjago City as a fight is ensuing. They're giving us the time to truly absorb it, and I think that is pretty good. But I think I just prefer 22 minutes. 22 minutes just feels like a more appropriate time frame for something as story heavy as Ninjago. Something the way you could really expand on what the story is trying to tell. Dragon's Rising just wouldn't work with 11 minutes. But in contrast, I don't think the Wildbrain era would have worked on 22 minutes. I think they both just serve their unique purpose, and they were written in that sense. So I think just on an overall, because I love the likes of Dragon's Rising, I prefer 22 minutes. But I'm not denying how bingeable the 11-minute era is. They're probably my most rewatched seasons for a reason. But thank you very much, James Politician. This is a good one. The 5th hot take is coming from The Real Brown Ninja 69. Hello, my friend. And yours is, Cole should have stayed a ghost. It was interesting seeing him have some sort of struggle with accepting who he was. And I'm really disappointed they just changed him back in the mid-special. I think Cole should have let Sensei Yang go through a portal instead of himself. Plus, the ghost design is just cooler than a regular human. I honestly can see the point, but I also really do disagree with this one. Now, immediately, you're correct. The ghost design was fantastic. It would have been really cool to have seen other designs under the ghostly filter, but that's just kind of beside the point. I do think it's also good, like you said, seeing his struggle, seeing him deal with it, seeing how he has to adapt to being a ghost. We got a lot of that in the likes of Season 5. Seeing him avoid water, seeing him possess objects to help the ninja, all of that is like amazing, and I think that's some of the best stuff we've seen for Cole. But the thing is that at the same time, something like that definitely does have a shelf life in my opinion. As cool as it is, I don't think in Dragon's Rising, Cole being a ghost would have been a good thing, because it would just put limitations on something that just didn't really need to be there. I do think that Cole becoming human once more just overall helped the purpose of the plot. I think there's just a lot of things that we wouldn't have been able to have if Cole just remained as a ghost. Like you said, there's definitely the upsides and that would have been great, but I just don't think it outweighs the benefits of having him back to being human. I just imagine of all of the major Cole moments and think of how they probably wouldn't be able to be the case, just simply put, if he was a ghost. So ultimately, whilst I understand your point and to an extent I agree, I just don't think on an overall I would have preferred it. Honestly, that's something I can make a whole video on myself. Let me know if you want to see that. But thank you very much, Brown Ninja. This is definitely a valid point and I see what you mean. Also, Day of the Departed's quite good, no? Our 6th hot take for today is coming from Jose2026. I think I got that right. I'm sorry if I didn't. But your one is, the love triangle between Jay, Cole and Nia was good. Let's just hope Ninja Cole's not listening to this video. Whilst the whole love triangle thing did lead to some interesting scenes and some funny scenes at that, I just don't think it's good. I think it just got in the way of a lot of things, and I just don't see the practical benefit of it in the long run. The most we really got that I think was good in terms of the love triangle was the fight between Cole and Jay in season 4. Seeing them both just hash out their feelings towards each other and eventually making up and working together is fantastic, and it's definitely the highlight of it for me. But I just don't really care for it. It feels like just really weird infighting, and the whole Cole thing just came out of nowhere to the point where they went back and essentially retconned it into saying that Cole wasn't fully aware of what he was doing and he didn't really see Nia that way. I don't believe that at all. I think that's just a really weird way of shoehorning in a bit of a redemption when it does come to the love triangle. I just think that it was just a really poor decision, and it lasted so much longer than I think it should have as well, and it just led to a lot of like really weird breaks in scenes. Like when Cole is floated off into space and Jay rescues him and his immediate response is get away from Nia, it just felt like such a break in the atmosphere. Zing, space. But yeah, I think besides that, it's just a really unnecessary arc. It just feels really weird and redundant, and it definitely could have been done without it. But yeah, I mean, if you like it, that's fair enough. But I have to disagree. Very sorry about that. The 7th hot take is coming from a sane TD Sec. I think I got that correct. I really don't know. I'm so sorry. And then you said your hot take is that you think that some of the OG seasons could have benefited from the 13 episode format like season 1 and 2. Rebooted and Skybound are really the ones that are in my mind. However, I don't want the filler episodes like season 2. You also apologize for your English when this was like really good. But honestly, completely agree with this one. The 13 episode format, even though it doesn't sound like a lot, provides another hour of content, and it definitely would have been good for a lot of the plot points in those classic seasons. Like you said, Rebooted and Skybound are definitely perfect definitions of this. Rebooted having only 8 episodes definitely did hinder the story, and I believe the writers even admitted to this. So having all of these seasons have additional episodes would have been really good. For example, the Tournament of Elements. You could have had another episode dedicated to the tournament itself, could have had more stuff in the jungle, could have had more stuff on the Second Serpentine War. Possession, could have spent more time with Lloyd being possessed, could have had more time with Lloyd not being possessed, could have had more time just with Morrow in general. Like you said, really nice. Skybound, really expand on Narukon and not make him just come across as really weird. Have more time with the ninja actually thinking about the Jin, maybe have them actually have another bit of time in the prison. There's a lot of things you could do there. And then Hands of Time, really just expand on the Lloyd master bit, expand on the Vermilion, expand on the ninja, Rhea Maya. So many opportunities there as well that definitely could have benefited from it. So yeah, I completely agree. This is definitely something that I really would have wanted. In terms of not having filler, I mean, yeah, but I don't personally mind the filler. I definitely think it would be welcome in my opinion, but that's just kind of me. I kind of miss it, if that's a bit weird. But yeah, I 100% agree. This is a good one. Thank you very much. And the last one for today is coming from I don't know how to pronounce it. Wow. I'm calling you Wow. I'm sorry, my friend. But your hot take is Nia should have stayed as Samurai X and Skylar should have joined the team instead of Nia. I really don't know how I feel about this one. I think I'm going to disagree, but for a very specific reason. Nia staying as Samurai X would have been something that would have been alright, but I personally really prefer Pixel as Samurai X. As much as I like Nia and her role in it, I just think Pixel was just kind of better suited for it. It was nice to see her have her own identity, have her own place in the Ninjago universe. It really was just really nice to see. So I don't think Nia could have stayed it, because also I just prefer it as the water ninja. But then, like you said, having Skylar instead be the 6th ninja, I definitely think would have been cool. I mean, that's what a lot of people wanted when it first came out. But I think, honestly, the perfect scenario would be to have the both of them. I think Skylar and Nia would have been a really cool dynamic within the team, and then having Skylar interact with the other ninja would have also been really cool. The few times we've gotten to see it, like with Lloyd in Hunted, and then like just in Crystallize, I think was actually really nice to see. And it's a shame that we didn't get more of it. So, whilst I do agree that Skylar should have joined the team, I think Nia should have also remained. It just would have been nice, and honestly, Skylar definitely should have had that spot. She was set up as a ninja, have her be a ninja. But yeah, I honestly agree but disagree because of it. Because I agree with part of it, disagree with the other. But thank you very much, my friend. But those are the hot takes that I've selected today, and like I said, thank you to everyone who has commented your own hot takes on that post. Go in there and read them if you haven't, because they are fascinating. And drop your theories in there as well, because there is a theory video coming soon. But besides that, also now drop your hot takes in the comment section down below, and I will do another one of these soon. But, like always, let me know your opinion on these ones, because I do think there were some good topics here. But thank you very much for watching the video, and I do hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please consider subscribing. I love discussing Ninjago with more people. And if you do want to support the channel any further, which you do not have to, you could always become a channel member and join the legends that you see on screen. Each of your support means the absolute world to me, and I truly cannot thank you enough. But like I said, that's about it for today, and take care. Okay,